Hey, hello and welcome. This is session 1 of 2 for Goblin Court. Goblin Court is a hack of lasers and feelings, which is a very light rules game. This particular game, Goblin Court, can be found on itch.io, and I'll have the link to that in the show notes. And it came out of like a Goblin Jam. I don't know, but it was recommended to me. So I wanted to try this out. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. And this game is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet is an online gaming community / club that has a calendar app associated with it. We have a podcast network. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. So as is traditional for our games, we're going to go through our cats, which is a set of steps kind of explaining what the game's about. I want to start by, though, reading out some of the game text, the sort of 3-paragraph intro text, because I think it really sets the stage for what's going on. You are goblins who are brought here to live in the royal castle. The queen and her court know goblins are mystical creatures, but don't understand what that means. And neither do you. Magic is just a goblin thing. You've never needed to think about it much. The queen expects you to conjure and cast fortunes to aid her schemes or alleviate her boredom, but be careful, the court is filled with politics, personal problems, human drama, all sorts of confusing stuff for a goblin. While you work on your own goals, the queen sets you to strange and marvelous tasks rife with hidden political pitfalls. If you help each other, your compassion and cleverness, with maybe a bit of goblin magic, can see you through. And so that's the basic premise of the game. And so we have our goblins who are full of pluck and slightly heroic, involved in this human drama here. What's going to happen is we're going to build our characters. We're going to build a little bit of the court. There will be something that the queen asks you to do secretly and magically. That's what she says. And there'll be some tasks for you to do and incidents. And through the course of solving that incident, we'll explore more about the setting and the location and so on. We'll be defining a lot about what it means to be a goblin, what this place is like, what it means to have this court, and so on. This is a lighter game, obviously. There's probably some pathos and drama on the human side, but nothing dire. I think it's fun without necessarily being gonzo, and our characters are definitively good. With goblins in various different media and things like that, some of them are the sort of the squibbly body horror barbarian goblin types. This is definitely not. These are goblins that shake their heads at the silliness of humans and move along. With it, to support this, we have a couple of safety tools that we are bringing to bear. The first of those is lines and veils. You'll see that there is a tab in our character keeper for lines and veils. A line being anything that definitively we are not going to see on the table. And then a veil being anything that if it were to come up, we would elide it, we would fade to black when that situation occurred. As we go through character creation, feel free to mark those and we'll check in on those. Those are the kind of important things. One of the things that the game itself says is that this rule of the guardian spirit, every goblin, including the goblin mom, has guardian spirit, which you can invoke at any time by knocking on the table twice, and you can just say knock. The spirit pauses the game for you, and everyone stops to listen while you tell the spirit what you need, whether it's to have the action explained or to back up and do the scene differently or take a bathroom break. So there's an additional tool built into these rules. To back up lines and veils and this guardian spirit idea, we have the X card, which I know both of you are familiar with. X card used for problematic material, questionable material, things that hit on phobias, or even things that you feel are wildly off tone from what we're doing. Those are all reasonable things to X card, and you can type that in the chat. You can just say X card, however you wish to do that. And then last but not least, probably not as important for this one, but possibly, we have the open door, which means that if you need to step away at any point, you can just say, I'm going to step away. If you don't come back, that's fine. Just maybe give us a heads up that you're leaving, or if you know you're coming back, you would say that. That's usually more important for games that are maybe more emotionally intense, where you might need to catch a breath, but those things are out there. So the plan is, character creation is pretty light. We're going to walk through that. We're going to set some things about the stage of our castle. At some point, we'll take a break, and then we'll continue on. We'll play till we feel like we've gotten something done. So that is our goal for this evening. So we have on our character sheet, you have just a few choices to make for your goblins. You'll choose a style, which is a kind of color descriptive style, which again, inventive, methodical, blunt, daring, inquisitive. Those are all that, or you can make up your own style. And then a court role, which defines what your goblin is expected to do there in the court. And then a number. And your number is a number that you set. It describes whether you are more about cleverness or more about compassion. The higher the number, the more you rely on cleverness. The lower the number, the more you rely on compassion. We're going to be rolling at least 1d6 for any risky things, and then there are ways to get additional dice for that. And then you also have a goblin goal. So I can see that we already have some names and things like that. Stephen, are you okay telling me what you're picturing for your goblin?
All right, my goblin, his name is Skunkwood. I see him as sort of a traditional Arthur Rackham sort of goblin market type goblin.
Okay.
And his style is inventive. He is a cook, and his goal is to share food. And for some reason, humans don't always have the same idea of what constitutes food. He's working on that. And yeah, and an interesting coincidence, skunkweed is the traditional seasoning for goblin jam, she brought up earlier.
So what is the thing that makes goblin food different? Is it unusual ingredients? Is it spicy? Is it highly spiced? Is it odd flavors? What do you think is like that kind of maybe puts humans off a little?
Well, I mean, humans apparently are very picky about what ingredients they'll eat. For instance, when I came here, I saw that they had this enormous garden where they grew a lot of grass. And so I assumed that they liked eating grass. I mean, especially since they would be cutting the tender shoots. So I made them a nice salad, and they didn't like it at all.
So you're still working on that, figuring that out. Tell me what does skunkweed? Is it skunkweed or skunkwood?
Skunkweed.
Skunkweed. What does skunkweed look like? How are they dressed?
It's just sort of short, like about three feet tall, dressed in sort of mostly drab green and brown, and it's got a little cap, these long ears, wrinkled skin, and he's got a little pair of glasses on his nose.
Are they older for a goblin, younger for a goblin, middle age?
I think they're sort of younger for a goblin, but humans tend to assume that they tend to assume that all goblins are really old because because we're so wrinkled. That seems to be a human thing, that humans are only wrinkled when they get old.
And within the kitchen where you serve as a cook, I assume there's a staff of human cooks that are operating there. The queen has installed you here. How do the human cooks react to you? Do they give you a wide berth? Do they help you out? Are they just curious about what's going on?
Most of them give me a wide berth, except for the head chef, Martha. She gave me a wide berth at first, but then she saw that I was actually a really good cook, and she really warmed up to me. I mean, she doesn't enjoy all of my inventions, but she's warned me off some of the ingredients that humans apparently find inedible. And I mean, apparently, like skunk wood, which you mentioned earlier, apparently humans can't eat wood. So
So goblins are a little more omnivorous. We've learned that. I imagine that Martha saw, good cutting skills. You had to find control the temperature, all those sort of professional chef things that
yeah,
probably her
yeah,
people don't
yeah,
have.
yeah. And I'm starting to understand the human palate.
Excellent. All right. That gives us a good sense of skunkweed. Uh, Sam, tell us about your character.
Yeah. I have a vision for a very old, wizened little goblin whose name is Waldorf. He is a brightly colored goblin, both in dress and in stylings. So he's got a long shock of hair that he is like day to day changing the color of as he comes up with what color he thinks is best for that day.
So it really could be anything.
Depending on the day, it could be anything. It could be a color that humans can't even see, and they just think it's white, and they're confused. But he's found over the years that humans respond well to bright colored things, and they tend to look at you more, and he likes being looked at. And so he dresses very flamboyantly in order to very vainly attract attention. He is a scribe-ish. He helps out in the library mostly. He's under the care of Her Majesty's chief scholar, who we'll call. I like him being like a monk, so like Father Bartholomew, something like that. And he doesn't get why all the books need to contain the knowledge and why you can't just tell people the things. And so he does what he's told, and he writes down the information that he knows and tries to get information to where it's needed, but he has no sense of like, this person shouldn't know the thing, or that person doesn't know what's going on, but I'll just talk about it anyway because I know it, and so therefore you must know it.
So do you think this sense of oral transmission of knowledge is a personal thing, or is this more of a goblin thing that they rely more on oral traditions?
I think it's an oral magical type thing. Like their goblins are so in tune with the forces of magic that typically they can learn things and know things without ever having to look at a book, and so they never had need for books, and so anything that they couldn't learn from using magic was just told or taught, and so they never really developed the need for it.
Plus, if you write something down in a book, how do you know that it's going to stay the same?
Yeah, it might change. If you write down my hair is orange and then your hair changes, then it's not true anymore.
So not a real tradition of ideographic language, written language, things like that, maybe art and representation instead in some places. So how did
Yeah.
it come that when Waldorf came here, he became a scribe? What was that assigned? Did Waldorf decide that's what he wanted to do?
It was discovered very quickly that Waldorf was very good at knowing things he shouldn't. And so the place that was deemed most useful for him was to be put under this very pious, very structured, ordered man named Bartholomew, who tries his best to keep Waldorf in check and does not do a very good job. And that was more of the drive and less of the actually making him be a scribe. Bartholomew gave him this job as a thing to do during the day to keep him out of trouble more than anything else.
Okay.
And he does have a certain aptitude for it, but
do you imagine that this is a book tradition? Is it a scroll tradition? Is it like wooden tablets? What's the thing that we're seeing? Is it more like Imperial China kind of thing, or is it more classical medieval? What do you think?
I do like the image of like the big scroll that's just kind of rolled out on the floor, and there's a goblin sitting on top of it trying to write. So let's go with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what Waldorf's motivation goal is to share secrets, to find them and share them. Okay.
Because he's realized that humans can't just know things, and so he needs to teach the humans.
There are obviously other scribes here. How does your penmanship stack up to theirs?
Oh, it's garbage.
Okay.
It's abysmal. He is not
there
a very
anything about your penmanship that is admirable at all?
He did pick it up very quickly.
Okay.
So it is legible, and he learned how to actually write fairly quickly when arriving, but he is not disciplined enough to actually like take the time and make it look nice. It's adequate.
That seems perfect. All of you have your work clothes. You have a fancy outfit for formal events. You have the tools of your trade: pen, ink, quill, kinship implements. You have the writ from your queen, giving you freedom to explore the castle, and the magic talking pebble allows you to speak with one another and other goblins across great distances. Let's look then at the castle. We're going to make some choices about this. We're going to choose two qualities: a problem and an interesting feature. So I think we'll kind of just go around on that. Stephen, we've got to drop down there under the castle section on row 9. What is the first quality of the castle?
I think it was originally a Goblin Hill house.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and humans have been living in it for so long that they've forgotten that.
So is it built up from being a goblin thing, or is it this big castle that in fact used to be a goblin locale in its entirety?
Right, it used to be like a goblin warren, like built into the hill, and like the humans they moved into it and they started improving it, and it started shifting on its own to accommodate them, and eventually it got fixed into place because humans think that buildings are supposed to be fixed in place, and now it hardly ever changes on its own. I mean, it still does sometimes when people forget what part of it is supposed to be like. So if somebody if they boarded up a room for 20 years and then they opened and then they opened up the room and went in there, it would be completely different, but everyone would have forgotten by that point. So they would assume that was just what it was like.
So we've got built into this hill, this Gormengastian complex that is built to human size. And you mentioned grass, so we know outside there's some kind of exterior court, probably battlements or something that the humans have put up out there. Okay, that gives us a good sense of that. Sam, what's the second quality of this castle?
I mean, there's a couple here that seem like we've already kind of established, so I want to establish something different.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that the humans have built up on top of this hill, and there's not a whole lot of room on the hill itself, and so a lot of what they're doing is just building straight up. So there's this big old tower right poking out of the top of the hill. That the queen is somewhere in the middle, has some of the nicer rooms near the middle. A lot of the top end is more like ballrooms or bedrooms for nobility, things like that. And then way up at the top, trying to keep it as far away from everybody else, is the library and the wizards, just to make sure that if something blows up, it's not going to bring the whole thing down. It might blow the roof off, but they're practical and they don't want to knock the whole tower down.
And so, given that the main body of the castle is sort of this interior kind of windowless, warren, this is the one place that has light coming in and breeze coming across and that kind of thing. What is it? Assume it's stone. What kind of stone? Is it a particular color? Is it a particular texture? Is it a wild cascade? What do you imagine that is like?
I feel like the main structure of the tower is this like gray, like basalt, like almost unfinished looking stonework. But on the inside, they had enough wealth to import some like very nice granites, and so the nicer levels of the interior are very well decorated and very elaborate with all of this accumulated wealth.
Awesome. That gives us a good sense of that. We have the physical sense of the castle. Stephen, I'm going to come back to you. Which would you like to propose as the problem for the court?
They have too many heirs. It's a very large family, and they don't have any legal tradition of the oldest child always inheriting. It's whoever is most qualified is usually chosen as the heir. It's more like a family business than a traditional nobility thing. So there's a lot of competition among the kids.
What happens to those that don't inherit? Do they become part of the machine? Are they sent out? Do they become a disruptive force?
Sort of all of the above. It's
Okay.
like if some of them find a place in the working around the court. Some of them they go off and make their way on their own, and others just cause trouble.
I like that. That sounds good. And then last but not least, Sam, why don't you pick one of the other interesting features?
I'm going to pick Mystic Woods as the reason for why they can't just continue building outwards. They have to build straight up. So this hillock is surrounded by these woods that cannot be tamed. Many generations have tried to push back the woods and have failed miserably. And the woods are kind of a vestment of this magical fey world that the humans are kind of encroaching on. And this is probably like the last bastion of actual humanity before you get into the true wilderness.
So probably a road that has been tamed, like one Grand Avenue Inn, but otherwise, what is the distinctive sort of appearance or nature of these woods? Are they dark? Are they bright? Are they particular color? What do we see of them?
I think they're very bright and very colorful. There's like fruit trees everywhere. They're constantly flowering. There's different like colorful funguses and animals all the time. But it's also constantly growing to the point where it's noticeable. So
Okay.
if I planted a tree that was kind of close to the forest edge, I could come back in 2 days and it would be noticeably like 2 feet taller.
Excellent. I like that very much. Let's go ahead and come in, and when we come to you, Skunkweed, what are your quarters like? Like where are you and the other goblins housed? Do you have individual rooms? Is there a communal area? What's your space like?
They gave us individual rooms, but I promptly moved out of them and I set up a space in the pantry.
Okay. So we see you wake up and kind of roll out from the pantry there. And what is the big cooking task for today?
Well, Prince Affable is visiting the castle on his way to journey through the enchanted wood to find a princess to marry. So the queen is throwing a big banquet to honor him.
Excellent. And so what dish have you been assigned to, or are you creating to showcase your skills?
I've been assigned dessert, and I am making this massive cake with these huge spun sugar decorations. And I mean, Martha has been very explicit on what ingredients we're allowed to use, but she didn't say anything about the decorations having to stay still. So I'm preparing a little surprise.
Excellent, excellent. And Waldorf, where do you hang your head at night?
Um, I don't think Waldorf really cares. It's wherever he happens to be tired and will just like fall asleep on a bench somewhere. Um,
Does he
he
have a
has a
room for
room.
stuff?
I,
Does he
I
have
don't think
stuff?
I think he forgot where it was a couple of years ago. Um, if he finds it again, he'll use it, but
Okay.
he doesn't know where it is.
And what is the book that you have been set to copying, and why is it either interesting or why is it dreadful?
I think it's painfully dreadful because it is a fictional piece, and I know that it's fictional, and I don't understand why anyone would write down things that aren't true. This is just wrong. This is falsehoods, and I brought that up many times to Father Bartholomew, and he reminds me that it's not my place to question what I'm copying, but I mean, irks me.
And what are you doing to make that task better for you?
Uh, what am I doing to make that task better for me? Um, I am probably taking lots of breaks, and uh, whenever I can reasonably justify going on a break, I probably am,
Okay.
and I think I'm probably eating a little bit too much.
Okay.
I'm
Do you, like going off and finding snacks, or do you carry snacks with you?
Oh no, I would definitely go off to find snacks because that gets me out of the library.
Okay.
Um,
Uh,
we're given lunch breaks and we're given snack breaks, so I can always use that as a justification to leave, and I will.
as you are heading out of the library to track down perhaps another snack, you will be spotted and approached by one of the queen's pages, a young man named Zabalu, and Zabalu will say, "Master Waldorf, how fares you today?"
Oh, I'm doing quite well, Zabadu. Um, how is your sister? I I heard she wasn't doing very well.
She is upset. She went close to the edge of the woods, as you know, and she had the breaking out of the hives. Those have diminished somewhat in quantity, if not in coloration.
Oh, that's
It's
very good.
better. Yes.
If they start to turn orange, you should definitely come and see me, and I can try and talk them away. But uh, no, you shouldn't worry about that unless it actually
Well,
happens.
I may do that, though. I do know when I spoke with the physiker, he had some remedies and scoffed at goblin fixes. But if it turns, what color
Oh
of
no,
orange? Like a
those.
bright orange or a light orange? Like a
Oh no, it will be
teal?
very noticeable. You will definitely be able to tell. It will not look
I will
natural.
know it is orange. All right, all right. I will
Yes,
speak to
and
her.
oh, by the way,
Yes, yes.
the thing that he prescribed you is definitely urine, and you should not drink it.
Fair enough. This is good information. That is also disgusting at the same time. Uh, I have been
I mean,
sent.
it's not his fault. He didn't know.
He
We got a
didn't know it
bad
was. How did he not
we
know?
got a bad shipment, and they swindled us.
Oh, all right, all right, all right. Uh, uh, the queen has sent me to hunt you down and for you to fetch a skunkweed and to come and call upon her in the tower. She has. She apparently has some worries, some concerns.
Oh, well, we must see to them.
So I've delivered my message. I will go and see my sister and make sure that she is not any sort of shade of orange.
Yes, do that, and tell her not to drink anything.
I will definitely do that
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
Most
So long.
appreciated. Goodbye.
And I'll definitely go down and seek out skunk weed.
What?
This seems important.
Yeah, skunkweed. What cooking step are you in the middle of when Waldorf shows up?
You're mute. You're muted.
Yes. Right. I am just mixing the batter. I got this huge bowl, and I've got the flour, and the eggs and the milk and the vanilla and the spices. I mean, I'm stirring in just a little bit of skunk weed. I mean, it gives it flavor. And I've learned that if I don't put in too much, then humans it adds something to the dish. They don't know quite what, but
It's an aromatic. Yeah, that
yeah.
makes sense. So as you are getting towards the last of that skunkweed, you will see Master Waldorf come in. What color is Master Waldorf's hair today?
I want to say that it is a bright sea blue green, and so it is very long. It is down past his waist, and he comes in and it's kind of flowing out behind him in this majestic kind of mane of hair. And he walks in. You haven't put enough skunk weed in that, you know. I can't smell it.
Yeah, humans, they don't like too much of it. Just a little bit, just a touch, just a touch.
I suppose you're right. Those humans. Anywho, I have a message for you from the Queen.
That's
And
interesting.
It's not about your cake. I know you were going to ask. No, she wants
wasn't.
something else. I don't.
I wasn't.
She
Well, yes.
she
I
hasn't
have an
told me
idea.
what.
I have an idea. You
What
like
is your
sharing
idea?
secrets, don't you? You could tell me what the message is.
I don't know what the message is. She did not tell me. Her page came and told me, and he didn't know, so I couldn't learn it from him. I have to be.
This is a riddle.
This is quite a riddle.
It's not just a riddle, it's an enigma.
It is an enigma wrapped in a riddle, and because you're involved, it is somehow wrapped in puff pastry.
No. You wrap enigma in bacon. I've learned that.
Ooh, that does sound tasty. Throw a little rhubarb in there. We'll have ourselves a snack.
Wow.
But we can get snacks later. The Queen does need us fairly urgently. I take it.
Wow.
Can you pass that off to one of these folks, or are they going to mess it up?
Gretchen, I need you to, yes, I need you to stir this batter exactly 37 times. 37 times.
37 times. Okay.
Yes. And then I need you to pour it into these cake tins and put it in the oven for exactly 37 minutes.
37 minutes. Okay.
All right. Okay, let's go, Waldorf. We have 37. It will take her 1 second to stir the cake, and each stir. So that's 37 seconds. And it will take her 37 seconds to pour it into each tin. And there are 15 tins. So that is a lot of seconds. And then it will take 37 minutes for the cake to bake. And we have to be back here by then. So let us go to the Queen right away.
And you'll hear a 1, 2, 1, and you will head out and make your way through the castle. There is, all of the sort of noise and bustle. Prince Affable has brought an entourage with him. There are a number of young bravos who have come. They were excited, but now they've gotten a look at the woods. Their enthusiasm has turned a little, and you can see that they are very clearly trying to delay Prince Affable's, maybe make him rethink this questing out into the woods to find a princess. But that's all going on. Banners being hung, things are being cleaned, and you'll make your way up. The tower is huge. So is it spiral stairs? Is there some kind of elevator? Is there a magical way to get up and down? What do you think that is?
We're going full magic, so I like the idea of there being like an elevator system where you can walk on one floor, and then after a second of somehow you like move upwards through this tube, and then you come out the other side.
Absolutely. You will take it up. You hear the whoosh as it lifts you up. Humans are okay at this kind of very static, repetitive magic. Like that's what they're good at. Real architectural things that are very boring. But you will reach. The two of you will come out, probably wiping your hands of ink, dusting off the flour. The two of you will come, and you will see that there are a pair of guards at the doors to the queen's rooms, and they will look at you, and one of them will bow and, Master Goblins, if you'll wait here just a moment, I will inform the queen that you have arrived.
Oh, I like him. He's very
Well,
nice.
Yes. Should we wait here for a moment? I think I would not mind if you informed the queen that we arrived, so there seems no reason not to do so.
He
I
will
think
open the door and head on in. The other guard is still standing at attention. And we hear, and the guard will come back and will say, if you will follow me.
Humans are so obsessed with conditionals.
And he will take you inside, and you will see the queen. And she's lovely. She has fine tresses of raven hair. She's at the window. There are bird cages in here, and you can see that she's got a table with some books and things on it. And you see her, and she's dressed not in full fancy, like that's a signal when humans are still maybe not dressed in like the going out clothes, that maybe there's something up. And you hear her give this Master Waldorf, Master Skunkweed, it is so good to see you.
It is so good to see you as well, Your Majesty.
Come and sit and attend on me, if you would.
Again, the conditionals. And I'll sit.
I am at my wits' end, and I'm not certain what to do. But then one of my handmaids reminded me of your wonderful magics and adroit cleverness. And they suggested that maybe you could help me with the problem.
And what is your problem, Your Majesty?
Well, what I must ask you, I need to be done secretly and with your special goblin magics. You can see the twinkle in her eyes that says that she has no idea what kind of magic you can do, but she thinks it's wondrous. And she says, I do not know if you have had the, I don't want to say pleasure, of meeting the courtier known as Lasmaron. He's in the king's favor right now, and has been gifted several things by the king. And he has a wicked tongue, sharp tongue, and he uses it to great effect. And he has of late been putting it to ill effect at the expense of a handsome, she looks off in the distance, handsome young noble, Kai Garwain. He's ever so handsome, but not ever so clever. And as a result, this Master Lasmaron has, as one might say, run circles around him. I thought that you would be able to magically and secretly create a change of heart in Lasmaron, so he is not so wicked, or at the very least, his attention is not upon lovely young Garwain. Will you
wish
do this
us,
for me?
yes. Okay, you wish us to change his heart so that his tongue will be less sharp and he will stop running circularly, and that will bring you to your wits center.
Yes, he is mean. I mean, if it must be blunt. If he's mean to Garwain, and I want him to stop being mean, like a change of heart should do that. You can do that, right?
So
Yes. Of course you
yes.
can.
I mean, it would be easier to change the whole person, to turn him into a butterfly or something.
You are asking us to shuffle most of his organs around.
Well, you know at heart what I mean by that. You always speak with such strange metaphors, but you always understand. Yes. You speak in that way. He needs to remain, of course, in the court, but just not being so awful to this handsome young noble.
Well, Your Majesty, we are very good at making people be less mean. And so
Good.
we will be most happy to do as you ask.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to hearing of the success of your endeavor. And she does that gesture that you recognize as the human. Oh, you're dismissed.
And Waldorf bows very low, and his hair like flips over himself and walks out of the room.
Yes, and Skunkweed bows, not quite as though, and holds out a small cupcake, which he lays down before the queen before exiting.
Oh, what is this interesting taste? And you hear that as you leave. The guardsman is there. Thank you, Master Goblins, for coming on such short notice.
Of course. Anything to get away from that stupid book that I've been writing. It's awful.
Yes. Okay, we must get down to the kitchen right away so I can take the cakes out, and then we will think about how to address this Sir Garfield or whatever his name was.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, I actually was just on the way to the kitchens to get myself something to eat, so that is a perfect place to discuss our plans.
Oh, you wish to make a plan?
Well, we have to do something. Because
yes, but I think this is a clever idea to do a plan before acting. Usually I make my plans after I act.
Retrospectively.
This is why I have some serious concerns about this thing that we have been asked to do, so we should talk about it.
Stephen, let's engage the mechanic here. You have assigned a task. You have tried to use your cleverness to solve the problem of this cake situation. I think this is a little bit risky, but I do think it is something that you do a lot. So we at least start with 2 dice that you're going to be rolling.
Yes, and I think I'm also working towards my goblin goal of sharing food.
That seems fair. And we are definitely looking at cleverness. So below a 4.
So 1, a 4, and a 5.
Okay, so the 4 allows you to ask a question, and you get to re-roll the 4.
All right, so let's see. My question, I think, is why is Lost Moron real? Why is he so intent on hurting this Sir Garwain?
Sir Garwain, you will have this memory of some of the people speaking about a contest that was held recently of horseshoes out in the garden. and that Master Lasmaron considers himself an expert horseshoe thrower. But that a few weeks ago, this young Cal Garwain did surprisingly well and actually beat Master Lasmaron at this game. And that seems to maybe have been when all of this started. You may re-roll that 4.
I did. I got a 6.
Okay, so you have 1 success. So when you come back, there is a smell of singeing in here. And you can definitely see that this young woman that you assigned to this maybe has decided that because there were so many cakes to be baked that she should stoke the oven hotter so that they would all be able to cook. She took it under her own recognizance to make that decision. And so you will have to rush in and how do you get these cakes out in the most efficacious manner?
Well, we have these big paddles that they use for sliding bread out of the oven, and so I am going to use my goblin magic to take one of these paddles and split it into 15 paddles that I can thrust into the oven all at once and take all the cakes out simultaneously.
So, come out, lift them up, kind of drop them down the thing. And you can definitely smell that the heat combined with the baking and stuff, that there's something like maybe you've activated an ingredient or two in there that maybe you didn't intend to. The cakes look lovely. There's not a singe on them, but you're maybe a little nervous about potential after effects.
Yeah, I'll cover it up with frosting.
Yes, frosting hides everything.
Can I have some of that frosting?
Yeah. Let's take 5, and then we will come back and deal with the plotting and the planning. So we will return back in the kitchen. The cakes have been frosted after they've been magically cooled. Because if it's one thing I know, you do not frost a cake while it is still warm. There's a lesson I learned early. So know that is a thing. These cooking tips brought to you by the Gauntlet. Anyway, so Waldorf, what are you gnawing on when we return back to the kitchen?
Waldorf has probably found like a chicken neck that was like discarded off in a corner. He is while Skunkweed is running around and making these cakes perfect, Waldorf is basically going through the trash and finding seasonings and different ingredients to make his chicken neck taste a little bit better. But it's great. It tastes awesome.
And you look up and you'll see Miss Martha, the head chef. Will look down at you and will say, Mr. Waldorf, how many times have I told you that the trash is the trash? And it is not a cornucopia for you to dig through.
It just looks so tasty.
Yeah. I mean, I think an approximate number would be an acceptable answer.
Do you want the real number? Because it's 422.
See, that doesn't seem like an excessive number to me. Please don't go through the trash, or at least don't let me see you go through the trash.
Okay, next time I'll do it when you're not looking.
Very good, very good. Then we'll all be on the same page. Well, these cakes look lovely. Look lovely, Skunkweed.
Thank you, Martha. They were a little overdone, but I think the frosting saved them.
Frosting saves everything. Well, good. I'm glad. I am relieved and pleased, and I'm looking forward to tasting your dessert later.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be a delightful surprise. The flavor.
Ah, good. Her eyes narrow for maybe just for a moment, but then she moves on because maybe she doesn't want to know. Waldorf, you said you had some qualms, concerns, ideas, suggestions, admonitions about this plan.
My qualms are that Master Losmaron is correct. He hasn't been telling falsehoods. He's only telling truths. And so it is difficult for me to understand why the Queen is telling us to have him stop telling truths.
Well, I mean, it occurs to me that the Queen wants us to transform his heart, but I think the real problem is his attitude. So if we could change his attitude towards Sir Garwain, we could just tell the Queen that we had transformed his heart. And then we would not need to adjust. Yes, and then we would not need to adjust his internal organs at all, which I think that is much more complicated than the Queen realizes.
I have to go and get all the correct berries. I have to make a whole trip out into the woods. Oh, that would be frustrating.
And whatever you transform it into, it either has to be capable of pumping blood on its own, or you need to do a whole separate enchantment to keep the blood pumping, because otherwise.
I remember the time we tried that, and that was most entertaining. Although, unfortunately, not for the poor woman. But lessons learned. And we will. I love your attitude.
Thank you. I love your attitude too.
Oh, thank you. But how are we going to change this Losmaron's attitude?
Well,
the Queen apparently does not love his attitude.
Yeah, it seems like his attitude towards Sir Gawain changed when he lost to Sir Gawain at Horseshoes. And it seems that if he could beat Sir Gawain at some other competition, that might change his attitude back to what it was before.
I like this plan. We need to rig a game and have Losmaron beat Sir Gawain, and all is well. This is excellent. I love games. What game are we playing?
Well, it would be too obvious if it were Horseshoes again. I think we need some other animal. Like, I know the humans have this game called Pin the Tail on the Donkey.
Why are they? I thought donkeys already had tails. Why do they need two tails?
It is not a real donkey. It is a fake donkey which has its tail missing. And the challenge is for a blindfolded human to place the tail on the fake donkey, the fake tail on the fake donkey. They don't use real donkey tails either. To place the fake tail as close to where the tail should be on the donkey if it were real as they can while blindfolded, which apparently when humans are blindfolded, they have a hard time placing things in the proper place. So this is a test of skill.
This seems like a very strange structure for a test of skill, but humans are very strange. And this seems like a fairly easy thing for us to set up. Yes, I love this plan.
Yes. And so what we must do is we must convince each of them that the other one has challenged them to this competition.
I have figured out what a letter is.
That's part of a word, isn't it?
No, not that one. Apparently, humans will take a piece of paper and put words on it and give it to another human, who then brings it to another human, who then brings it to another human, who then brings it to another human. And eventually it gets to someone who is supposed to read it. And that person reads it and understands new things. And
that's just a book, isn't it?
It's a very, very small book that is designed for one person to read. Again, I don't understand the humans. This is similar to the donkey thing. But if we were to write letters to each of them from each other, that would convince them to play this game.
So if I have a charm that turns me into Sir Gawain, I could write a letter to Losmaron from Sir Gawain. And if you had a charm that turned you into Losmaron, you could write a letter to Sir Gawain from Losmaron. I see.
Exactly.
So you wish to create said charms? Is that what I'm understanding, Mr. Skunkweed?
Yes, that would appear to be the next step. We need to transform ourselves into Sir Gawain and Losmaron.
What three things do you need to be able to craft these transformational charms?
Well, we need one item from each of them.
Okay.
Like a piece of hair or a strand of hair or something.
Okay.
And we need a chokeberry from the Enchanted Forest.
Easily enough gotten. Good.
Yes. And we need we need some water from the magic pool in the beneath the magic well in the courtyard.
Okay. So I think the more interesting of these three things is the item from each of these people. So let us begin there. Master Waldorf, who are you obtaining an item from? Is it Carl Garwain or is it Las Maran?
I think that Waldorf probably has a better relationship with Carl Garwain. Or at least a better perceived relationship. Carl Garwain is young and flamboyant and also dresses similar to him, and so he thinks of that as camaraderie, although it is, I doubt Carl Garwain has ever actually heard of him. And so he's going to use that as an excuse to go and visit Sir Garwain.
So yeah, we'll find Master Garwain. He is out by the stables. He's probably talking with some of Prince Affable's young bravos. Garwain is thick-shouldered, solid, square-jawed. Apparently handsome is what the queen says, but he is there, and he is in the midst of telling some sort of story, very slowly.
Okay, well, I've come to understand that humans don't like being interrupted, so I'm gonna probably pass the time a little bit while the humans are talking, and so I'm going to go up and I'll talk with the horse that they're sitting next to, and I assume one of them is like grooming a horse if they're in the stable. Yeah. So I'll go and talk with the horse. See how the horse
can goblins speak with horses? Is that a thing?
I think that goblins, being magical creatures, can speak with the creatures of the forest. I don't know if this horse has been around the forest long enough to do that. I think
let's say yes.
Okay.
You can look. You start talking to the horse. Horse says, "What's up?"
Brr.
Ben,
I have not seen you.
You got an apple? Sugar, apple, sugar, apple.
I have this leftover bit of a chicken neck. I don't think horses eat that. Unfortunately.
Apples, carrots, sugar. These are all good things.
Well, yeah, those are good things. Here, and he spins it on his finger and makes it look like a carrot.
Oh, you got a carrot.
I do have a carrot. And he
why'd you give me the carrot?
I gives it to him.
Okay.
I haven't seen you around. You're
a very tough carrot.
What can I tell you? I thought it was tasty. But you haven't been in the castle very long, have you? Where are you from?
I came with the prince's retinue, and then they rode me around the woods, and now I can talk.
I know. It's great, isn't it?
Not many people understand me, so not so great. The other horses don't understand me. Well, some of the older horses do that have been for a while, but that's all that thing.
Finding new friends is always good.
Absolutely. Could you take this carrot out of my mouth? I don't want to spit it, but it's not very good.
Yeah, I apologize. And he tosses it, and as soon as it leaves his hand, it turns back into a chicken neck. You said you were with the prince. Who is this?
Prince Affable.
Oh, that prince. Oh, of course. How could I have not known? Oh, that is a very high standing for a horse.
I only just found about it, even though he was riding me for months. Now I know his name.
You are a prince among horses.
Am I now?
You are the noble steed of a royalty.
Oh, all right. Okay. Good. Good to know.
You must know all kinds of things.
I know things. Like what? Like what?
Um, you must know. Um, you said you rode around the forest, correct?
Rode me around the edge of the forest.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't happen to see any small encampments, perchance? People who look somewhat like myself.
Oh no, I've never seen anybody that looks quite like you.
No.
I mean, no one's quite that bright or fluffy.
Oh no. I meant the small and wizened and wrinkly.
Oh, that I don't know.
Oh. Do you want hair like this?
Not so much. It
Oh,
would get underfoot. But I appreciate the offer.
I don't have to make it long. I could just make it blue.
I'm
Have you ever thought about being blue?
not even sure what blue is.
This color.
Oh, interesting. And you'll hear at this point, you'll hear Garwin go, and that's how you make a fresh stirrup when yours is broken. And the other people there are like, oh yeah, this good story, Cal. That was very informative. Thank you. We must be going now. All right. Well, if you have any other horse-related questions, I'm your guy. Bye.
How does he react to turning around and seeing a very small man just like
Oh, little goblin dude. Whoa. What has happened to your hair?
This is my hair. This is always my hair.
Oh, but it is like unto the lion's mane, but a color I have not yet seen in nature.
Do you want hair like this? I was just asking your horse if he wants hair, and he says
Oh,
no.
please don't do that to my horse.
Do you want hair like this?
I don't think so. I have enough troubles as it is.
You would look fantastic. It would go so well with the robe that you're wearing, which is a wonderful color, by the way.
Well, it is nice. I like the pretty colors. But no, I'll hold off on the hair. Did you need something, little goblin dude?
Quite frankly,
Yes.
I was asked by the queen.
Oh, the queen.
Yes. I was asked by the queen to make your hair better.
Oh, the queen has noticed my hair, but she's displeased with it.
No,
I use a conditioner.
She wants you to
have hair like yours. Have less hair. Have straighter hair. Have curlier hair.
Yes.
I think those are all the possibilities for hair.
Yes.
All right.
Do you mind if I try? And we'll see how this goes.
Try what?
Oh, it'll just be quick. It'll be simple, and I can always change it back.
Oh, well, if it'll be quick, then I don't really need to know what it is, do I?
No, you don't.
Good. All right.
And I think he's Waldorf is gonna like hop up on the horse to try and get above him, and syrup. He's gonna like massage his head, which has nothing to do with the actual spell. But he's just trying to like pull some hair out while he's doing this.
I think that is very easy for you to do. Though I do want just a standard cleverness roll here.
Yeah. He is really bad at lying,
Yeah.
but I think he's trying to play that off as he's trying to be tactful. But
Okay.
he's just bad at lying.
So let's say
so-
D6. Do you think hair is something that you're heavily involved with?
Yeah. So if we're going off of the hair thing, then yes, I do this a lot.
Okay.
I was going to argue that I don't lie very often, so I would not work for that. but
Let's even it out then. Just one die.
just one dice. And I'm definitely not trying to share secrets. So let's roll a dice. 1d6. Let's make him teal. There, that's that one. I got a 5.
You got a 5, so you may ask a question and then re-roll.
Ask a question and then re-roll. What does Sir Gawain know that Los Moran is doesn't?
He has an encyclopedic knowledge of potatoes and other root vegetables. He comes from a family that has prided itself on its root vegetable growing talent, and he has been raised with some of the noble arts, but he is also very familiar with tubers of all kinds. Lasmarin undoubtedly has no such knowledge.
Excellent. I will use that to my I will use that to
Let's
my
have you re-roll. We'll make sure that nothing bad happens.
re-roll that to a 1.
Okay. I think as you pluck the hair, you will realize, though you can't identify it, that Gawain, he's under an enchantment of some kind. Someone or something has enchanted him. But you will pluck the hair, and then he will say, I must be going, little goblin dude. I will perhaps speak with you later.
I want to say like he's going to do that, but it's only like halfway through the spell.
Okay.
So I'm like, but wait, you're not done.
Oh, well, I have to go now. I said it was going to be quick. I should go.
Okay. Bye.
And he heads off.
And like he's got like zebra stripes of curly and straight hair.
It'll go away in a bit, but he's going to have a hard time for a little while here. Let us cut to Skunkweed. Skunkweed, how are you getting something of Las Marans?
Right. Well, I track him down. I track him down in the garden where he is entertaining some young ladies performing on the lute.
Then I said, "See, allow me to this song that I picked up in the South. I gave my love a flower."
Yes, and I have a tray of pastries, which I bring out to them, and I present it to them, bowing. And
How fortunate that such a thing should happen, that we should have pastries presented to us in such a day as it's not an auspicious occasion. Allow me to put my flute down. Good servant. Oh, you appear to be goblin.
I do appear to be goblin. I look at myself as if surprised. My nature is not base, sir. Goblins are a noble race.
Yes, whatever. Pastries.
Yes.
What kind are these? I am allergic to boysenberry.
One moment. And I turn around and I shuffle things and I mutter a little spell. These are cranberries.
Ah, cranberry, the fruit of the bog, a beautiful fruit. The sharp, the tartness of them is exquisite. Yes, yes, yes.
Master Losmoron, I have heard a fascinating tale of your gastronomical prowess. Is it,
Such tales will be widely circulated, of course. Yes, yes, go on.
yes, is it true that you can cut things with your tongue? I had heard that it was very sharp and that you could slice objects with. Is this not the case?
And his face darkens, and you hear a little bit of laughter from some of it. And who, pray tell, put this idea into your head, young goblin? Who put this thing, this wicked slander that you would bring to me to say such a thing?
Look, it was. It was Gretchen, the kitchen girl.
Gretchen, the kitchen girl. Well, I will certainly express my dismay that the scullery wenches and the low-born people who work in the kitchen should even speak of me.
Please forgive her. Even if she left the cakes in too long, she does not deserve such a fate.
Let us have you roll compassion here, because he is truly, truly upset.
Okay, let's see. Well, this is 1d6. I do make excuses a lot.
I have heard you making a lot of excuses, yes.
But I don't think I am working towards my goblin goal at the moment.
No.
So, and I got a 6. Oh no, wait, that's a 5. It changed at the last minute.
Oh yes, the new roller has a slight delay to it.
Yes. All
but
right,
a 5 is still above your 4.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Well, I will have words, but yes, I do not need to punish such.
Yeah. I must have misunderstood. Humans express yourselves in such strange ways sometimes.
Yes. Well, let me allow me to try one of these cranberry puffs. Oh. Do they taste like cranberry puffs?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh. It's like a flavor I've not quite tasted before. What is that in there? Is that allspice?
Oh, not all spices. I've learned that if you put all the spices in one dish, humans find it confusing.
No. The spice, allspice, he says in the most condescending way possible to you.
No, just
allspice.
No, just the spice, some of the spices.
Mm. Very well. Well, you're dismissed, little goblin. And he picks up his lute as if he's going to now turn back to once again serenade the young woman here.
Oh, sir, I wonder.
Yes.
Would it be possible to have a token of your favor?
A token of my favor?
Yes, I've heard that this is a human custom.
That is a human custom for gentlemen to give favor to ladies. And he looks like these lovely ladies.
I see. Oh, so could you demonstrate this custom to me?
I am always one to encourage the edification of the lower classes, so certainly. And he will draw forth a handkerchief. And he presents it. My lady, a token of my favor. And she'll take it and she laughs. She'll take it. Like so. And now she has the handkerchief. She will place it next to her bosom. She will think upon it, the perfumed nature of it.
I
Was that
see.
enough for you, servant?
Just a moment. Let me see if I understand this custom. And like I pull out this napkin from one of my pockets, and it's this long napkin. And I turn and I bow. I turn to the lady, and my lady, will you hold this next to your bosom?
No, it is clotted and covered with things.
Oh, is that so? A token should not be clotted or covered with things.
You're a goblin. You would never understand the human sense of beauty and grace and so on. I think you should carry yourself away.
Carry myself. That is a very powerful magic. Well, if I could just, could I see the difference between these? Could you show me that handkerchief again? It's just so I can.
And the young woman will pull out the handkerchief and she'll hold it forth, and this is a handkerchief, a clean, beautiful, silken thing.
And I'm going to try to use goblin magic to make my napkin look like that handkerchief.
Let's have you roll. That seems like a clever thing.
Yeah, and I think this is only one die. I can't see how this is something that I either do a lot or that is working towards my goblin goal.
That does seem like the case here.
And that is a 1.
That is a 1. So I think that you will manage it. But you can definitely tell as you do that Lasmarin, like his eyebrow arches, like now he's paid notice of you, like he's told that something odd has happened here. What is your name, goblin?
My name, good sir, is Skunkweed.
Skunkweed.
Yes. Are you familiar with the herb?
I am not, but I shall remember your name.
Well, sir, I shall remember your name as well, because that is a courteous thing to do, and I understand that humans value courtesy.
Yes.
And I am pleased that you are so courteous as to remember my name, so that when we meet again, we will be able to address each other by name, as good friends ought to do. And I reach out my hand to shake his.
And I think that you could probably reach out your hand, and there'll be that kind of shuffle where you can do the trade-off of the handkerchief, because he doesn't want to touch your hand. No, I don't think so. We are no friends. Know your place, goblin.
Ooh, I have a place.
Yes, wherever it is you brought these things from. Go.
Oh,
Be
the
gone.
pantry.
Out of my
The pantry
sight.
is my. I thought the house was the queen's place.
You tire me and vex
Oh.
me. Go.
Very well, sir. I go. And it's like I reach back and like I'm pulling up my shirt to carry myself away as I run off. I'm not going to the trouble of casting a proper spell to do it.
Fair enough. We will cut back to the chambers where the two of you have assembled your ritual goods. Where do you do this magic? Do you do it in the kitchen, or in the library, or somewhere else?
I don't think we do it in the kitchen. And I think Martha disapproves of these magical experiments
It
around.
smells of necromancy.
Yes.
I was thinking that there would be, maybe there's another goblin who is like a potions like
Absolutely.
very
Ashbrand.
in tune with like tinctures and alchemy, and so maybe we ask them to borrow some of their equipment.
Go down to
so we're down in the
see.
dungeons.
Yeah, go down and see him. He works down below. He has his little goblin chemistry set, and he dresses in usually like purples and browns, vegetal colors, and it's a little more subdued. He sees you, Waldorf, and shakes his head. Your colors are far too bright for him. Master Waldorf, I see that you have found a new shade to make your hair that is...
I shall never run out.
That is not a true statement. There are a limit to the number of colors. I know that.
Have you seen all of them?
I have not, but I know that there are only 512 colors.
Well, I have found a 513th, and I shall make you see it.
Very well. I accept that challenge. What has brought you, Master Skunkweed, down to my humble place that I go to one time to time when I'm not other places?
We wish to borrow some of your equipment. We have brought all of our own ingredients this time. We're not asking you for ingredients. You yelled at us about that last time.
I yelled at you because you took it without asking. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours if you ask.
Good to know. Next time we will not make the trip out into the woods and scrape ourselves.
Brambles and thorns and stuff.
But we got the berries.
I smell some sort of pastry, do I not, Master Skunkweed?
Oh yes. And I pat my pockets, and then I pull out, and it's not a pastry. It's an enormous lollipop.
Oh. What flavor is that?
This is skunkweed.
Oh. The finest. May I?
Yes, you may. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine.
He licks on it for a bit. Go ahead, do your ritual. And you can do this. Do you think this is cleverness to do this magic?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. And I think that you are helping one another. So whoever rolls can add a die, or actually one of you can roll who's helping. And if you get a success, you add that success. So who is doing the main thing and who is helping?
Skunkweed is the chef. So you probably are more in tune with actually like
mixing ingredients
together and getting things to come out right. I can't be bothered to actually like measure things out. So I'll help. I'll be cutting up berries and like stripping the hairs and things like that. So
you roll your cleverness.
And so is it just one dice?
Just one die as an assist.
I'll re-roll that dice, and I got another one. So
okay.
Below my 5.
Yeah. So we've got one success from that, and then you may roll your dice, Stephen.
Okay, and I think it's just one die for me as well. Because I don't think this is something I do a lot.
Well, we did say that you were like cooking and measuring things out, and so I would argue that
I think that's reasonable.
You'd probably get
all right. I'll roll second. All right. So that's a 3 and a 4. So we roll the 4, and that's, I think, 6.
Okay, so 2 successes, and you get a question. You will definitely prepare these charms. They will last today. You have a good deal of time to do them with, and they will be fairly potent. What is the question you wish to ask?
What is the enchantment that Sir Gawain is under?
He has been blessed by fairy magic, such that he is victorious at contests and games.
I love the image that this, like, as we're putting the hair into the potion, the extra little bit of magic that was in that hair comes and floats up, and we're like trying to like figure out what this spell was.
It's like, oh, lilac.
Fairies.
Yeah. Ashbrand hands you back your lollipop so that you can put it back in your pocket. And it says, well, these charms look very efficacious.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a problem. Our plan was for Lost Moran to defeat Sir Gawain in this contest of pin the tail on the donkey, but with Sir Gawain's fairy magic, which I detected when I was creating the charm, I do not think that he could win this contest, even with our help. So I think what we must do is, while I am disguised as Sir Gawain, I must lose to Lost Moran in this contest. And while you are disguised as Lost Moran, you must somehow convince Sir Gawain that he's been defeated in this contest, which will not really be a contest because it will not be an actual test of skill.
Ah. So we will circumvent the fairy magic because he will succeed at contests, but this is not a contest.
Yes.
Ah. Brilliant.
Yes,
I'm proud to be part of this plan.
Yes. And it is so simple that surely nothing can go wrong.
Yes, Ashbrand nods in agreement. The plan seems like this is the obvious course of action. You've hit upon it exactly, and yes. Well, good luck to you and your things.
Thank you, Ashbrand. And by the way, I have not forgotten about the beaker that I broke. I will pay you back.
I know you will. This is the thing.
All right.
So, how are you going to arrange this?
I have no clue. I think, well, first off, we need to somehow convince each person to do this contest in a different place. And then we need to show up to those different places and purposefully lose to them.
Or beat them.
No, we both need to lose.
No, we need to beat the real Sir Gawain.
Oh yes, you're correct. We need to beat the real Sir Gawain.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that given these charms, as you said, I think the actual writing of notes and luring them to a place is not a thing that needs a roll. I think that's a given, that your charm has allowed you to do that. So what place and what contest have you set up, Master Waldorf? You are challenging Lost Mara because you will
Mhm.
be Sir Gawain. What contest have you challenged Lost Moron to?
So we're still doing this pin the tail on the donkey thing, I assume, and donkeys belong in the stables. So my immediate thought is that this is a stable game, and so I'm going to ask Sir Gawain to meet me in the stables at night, and we will have our contest, which is not creepy at all.
So are you as Lost Moron or are you as Gawain?
I am. Oh, that's. So I thought that I was going to be. We were going to swap potions and then go back to the same person,
Oh yeah,
but
we see the problem already
we
with
see
this
the
plan.
problem. Yes,
Yes.
we're both confused.
Yes.
Um,
Who
so
are
I
you
am.
right now?
I am. I think it's more interesting narratively if I am Sir Gawain trying to interact with Lost Maron.
Okay.
So I will walk back what I previously said.
Sure. So what is the contest? Is it pin the tail on the donkey?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is the contest that we have decided upon, and to keep our story straight so that everybody wins and loses at the same thing, we will figure that out.
Okay.
But I think that Lost Maron is probably not going to leave the castle anytime soon, and so we both agree that as a show of faith, Garwain will do this contest in Lost Maron's like suite or something to kind of like I'm coming to you and I'm going to beat you in your own home, like do a stick it to him challenge.
All right. Let's frame up and set up that scene, and then we'll come over to Skunkweed and see how his end. So you will come. This is the area, the castle, where is this before or after the dinner?
I think that this is after dinner. This is
Okay.
like both of our things were after dinner as like illicit competitions.
Yeah. So you arrive at Las Marins. It is late. It's after the feasts. His doorman sees you in. Las Marin is in his study. Big sifter of brandy, fire going in the fireplace. He stands up and he says, "So what is this contest that you wish to challenge me to, Master Gawain?"
Well,
Uh,
as I
thought he was
or-
Gawain. Or you
I
Lost
am
Marin?
I am
sorry.
Garwain.
Oh, sorry. Whoops.
Okay. Sorry. We'll frame
That's
up
okay.
the other one here in a second. But he says, what is this contest you spoke of? You think that this will even our score here? You think that perhaps I am petty in some way and such?
I heard from my good friend Lord Whitmore that you, Los Maron, were the king of pin the tail on the donkey. And I have come to challenge you for this title.
I need you to roll cleverness here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cut away to Skunkweed.
Okay. I get one dice. I don't do this very often. I'm lying again. And I am probably not working towards actually sharing secrets. I'm keeping secrets. So that is 1 dice. I'm rolling on 1 dice a lot, and that's a 6. So that's a failure.
We will come back to that in just one moment. Master Skunkweed, disguised as Lasmaron. Where are you holding this contest?
I'm holding this contest in the paddock behind the stables, where ordinarily they would like exercise the horses and things. I have prepared by leading out a donkey and turning its tail invisible, and I have 2 donkey tails which are wiggling.
Okay.
Prepared for the contest.
So Garwain will arrive and looks around, and he like he's clearly nervous. Lord Lasmaron, what is this all about?
Master Garwain, you feel that you are superior at games of the animals, do you not?
Oh,
I am here to show you that you are not. I am here to show you that you may have defeated me in the game of the horse, but I shall defeat you in the game of the donkey.
You mean the horseshoe game?
Yes, the horseshoe game.
What is the donkey game? I don't know any donkey games.
As you can see, this donkey in the field is missing its tail.
Oh my God, did you cut the tail off this donkey? You're a monster.
Sir, this is the donkey is unharmed. All that we need to do is to reattach the tail to the donkey. And here we have a selection of tails. As you can see, the tails are clearly labeled. One has my name attached on a paper label. The other has your name attached on the paper label. And here are 2 blindfolds. The challenge is this. While blindfolded, we will attempt to reattach the tails to the donkey. And whichever of us places the tail closer to the proper position is the victor.
Let's have you roll cleverness here.
Okay. And this I think is just 1 die. I don't see how this is working towards a goal or something,
Right.
or something that I do with great frequency. So, and I got a 5.
And he says, I am not a wizard. I cannot attach a tail to a donkey. And we'll cut away from that. Back to you, Master Waldorf. And Lasmaron goes, pin the tail on a donkey. That is the contest. What are you, a 6-year-old? Are you a big baby? No. How about a real contest?
I was told that you wanted to play this game.
Whoever told you this is wrong, but I suspect rather that your tiny pea brain misread it. We will play my game and we will see how things go.
What is your game?
Well, it just so happens that out here, outside this door, my patio opens out onto a small garden. Good and spacious. It is where I train. I think that you and I should take up dueling sabers and let us do a pass, shall we? Come now.
That's-
You're not a coward, are you?
And I think just at this moment, you get a message on your magic pebble saying, "We have a problem. He won't play pin the tail on the donkey."
He wants to stab me with a sword, and I don't understand what's going on.
Just roll with it. Stabbing. We'll change the game to stabbing people with swords.
Okay, good plan. I will take your sword stabbing game.
Come, good. Follow me. And he walks out. See him throws off his cloak, stretches. You see him reach, pulls on his fencing gloves, walks out here in the courtyard. There's some torches out here. He will gesture over to a set of sabers on a board. Choose your weapon. Waldorf, have you ever held a sword?
Nope.
Okay.
Not even a once. Have you? These look an awful lot like the potato peelers that I used to use back at home.
Ugh, you and your root vegetables.
Root vegetables. They're called tubers, my good sir.
Choose your weapon. Stand at the ready.
I'm specifically trying to like bore him into being an ass or overdoing it or something.
Does this feel like a more of an emotional thing or more of a clever thing for you?
I'm trying to be clever and make him slip up, I think.
Okay. Let's have you roll that. And you are sharing the secrets of the potato that you learned earlier today. So I will certainly towards your goal.
Okay. So I will re-roll this one and then roll one more. That one. Then re-roll that. That's a 2 and a 5.
Okay.
So I get to ask a question and re-roll the 5. How is he about to cheat?
He knows the ground here, and he's definitely going to set you in a position where he knows that it is a little bit slipperier, and that he's going to take advantage of that to put a poke into you.
Okay, and then I'll re-roll that one, and that's a 6. So that is 1 success.
Okay, we will come back to what that looks like in a second. I'm no wizard. I cannot attach a donkey tail. No. I do not how you've done such warlocky stuff to sever a tail so that it is still living.
So if you are not familiar with courtly games, then I suppose that we have no choice but to engage in some other contest, such as sticking each other with pointy objects.
Like a pitchfork?
I was thinking of those sword things.
Oh, you want a duel?
Yes, that is what I want.
Oh, okay.
And the terms of the duel are that if you, Sir Gawain, succeed in stabbing Las Maran, you are the victor. But if I am able to stab you, then I am the victor.
That's the usual thing. Yeah.
Very, very well, and I will go to the donkey tails, which I had laid out, and I would do a quick charm to turn them into swords.
Okay. Let's have you roll cleverness to get the swords exactly like you want them.
Okay. And yeah, and this and again, this is a single die, and that's a 5.
That is a 5. So, the donkey tails do not obey you, and in fact, they rile up and will start rushing about, and they are trying to pin themselves on any beast that is in here. And so suddenly there is a riot of braying from the donkeys and horses and so on in this place, and it is a cacophony. And you can hear the stable hands and such being awoken, and you see Garwain's like, what is going on?
I have no idea.
And you two are kind of caught in the middle as people start coming in, like, what's going on? What's going on? Cut back. Garwain. It almost appears as if you do not know which end of a sword is which.
Sorry, I was muted. I know which end of a sword is which. It's very clear that this end that has the large cover should go towards the person who does not want to get stabbed. That is clear as crystal, or clear as a potato, as my mom used to say.
Potatoes are not clear, you bumpkin.
I don't know what a bumpkin is, but I do not appreciate it.
He raises his sword up, taps it to his forehead oddly. On guard. On guard.
Smack, smack.
No, so, what is it that you want to have happen? You've got one success.
I want him to be so angry and frustrated that he rushes in and is like, he thinks that he has me beat, but I'm like goading him.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think you will draw him in, and he comes in, and he's got this sword out, and he clearly means to give you a nasty cut.
Okay.
How do you want to play this? You still want to lose, right?
I do want to lose, but I want to make it look convincing.
Okay.
So I think he's gonna like try and parry. Like he definitely twists the sword the wrong way, but it's enough to like get the blade away and not actually cut himself. It's like, whoa, hey, ho, calm down.
I think that yeah, you will be able to just like he comes in, and he comes in hot, and you have to parry and kind of fall back, and he goes and he hits you. Where does he actually tag you? Like when he actually does land a hit, where does he hit you?
Yeah, so we're going back and forth. I'm always on the defensive, backing up. And so I know that he wants me to, and I know that he's backing me into this like slippery or icy spot. And so I'm purposefully going to like skid my foot a little bit, and my sword goes down and he catches me in the upper arm.
And because it was a mixed success, I think when he hits you hard. Like like it really, really hurts. Like he really stabs you. Like you don't do that to other people. And he stabs
Ow.
you. What is it that you say that is clearly not an exclamation from Garwain?
Oh, what do I say? Oh, Brumblesticks. Ah.
What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got very flustered. This stings most egregiously. Did you have to stab me quite so hard?
No, I didn't have to. I wanted to. Shh. I think we know who the better man is now, don't we?
Sure, we'll go with that.
You can see yourself out and find your way to the Physiker.
Okay. And he's very pointedly going to like he's holding his arm with one hand, and as he walks through the door, he's gonna like put his hand up on the door and smear a little bit of blood to like play it up.
Okay.
Essentially, he is actually hurting, but he wants
Yeah.
to play this up and be like, "Oh my god, my arm."
Yeah, and you will head out. You can feel, even as you're starting to walk out, you put your hand on the thing and you realize that the handprint may be a little bit smaller because that stab, that like the charm, the pain of this seems to be working away. How do you get out of here before he can see you transform back?
I'm gonna trip and like fall on the ground behind a couch or something
Okay,
and like crawl the rest of the way out.
let's have you roll cleverness.
Again, I think this is just the one dice. So let's move this one out of the way. Roll that one. That's a 3.
Okay. By the time you get out from behind the couch, you are goblin, bleeding goblin. What color is goblin blood?
Ooh. Let's make it like black.
Okay.
Like
so there's red
it's
blood,
like
red blood,
ink.
red blood, and then it's black blood, black blood, black blood. The cleaning people will probably notice, but and be weirded out by this, but you will get out and ow, 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 ow. We'll cut back to this scene. You and Skunkweed and Garwain have been kicked out of the stables. And Garwain is like, well, there'll be no donkey pinning this evening. You're muted.
No, there will be the sword sticking, and I think we've drawn a big crowd by now with all the commotion.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's lots of people, and now there is. Oh, this is Garwain and Lesmar going to duel. And one of the people will step forward, Master Lesmar, and I have swords here. May I present them for you to use?
Thank you. And I take both of them and I turn and hold them out in both hands. Well, where are your swords?
I don't have. Maybe I could
Yeah,
have one of
here,
those.
one of yours. Yeah, I had
here.
one of those.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes.
So he takes his sword. Okay. Draws it out. He's got some skill. He kind of goes, all right.
Right. But I earlier I defined the contest in terms that he has to actually stab Lost Moron in order to win the contest. So it's fairy magic.
Yes.
To confuse his fairy magic.
Will not help here for that. So my question is, how are you going to actually do this? Is he going to think that you're fighting him now? How do you want to play this?
It's like I have used this charm to turn myself into Lasmaran. So I am moving like Lasmaran. I am relying on Lasmaran's ability to
Uh,
to do
Certainly,
on
we know you already
his
established
body
that
language.
their handwriting transfers, so other
Yeah,
skills and
yeah.
things must transfer. In that case, let us have you roll cleverness.
And again, this is going to be just one die, and it is another 5.
It is another 5. I think you stab Lasmaran. Sorry, you stab Garwain. I think that you're using Lasmaran's instincts, and I think you stab Garwain hard. And you realize that you stabbed him harder than you probably should have. And people will go, and Garwain's clutching at the wound.
I was like, oh my God. Quickly, bring me some chokeberries.
What are choke? People are like, chokeberries.
Cranberries will do, or any berries. Quickly.
And Garwain falls to the ground, getting paler there. People are kind of running up and trying to help. And some people will come and I have a poke. These are pokeberries.
Perfect. Right. I'm going to grab the pokeberries and like I'm mashing them up and I'm packing them around the wound and muttering under my breath that like I'm doing some goblin magic to try to heal this wound so that he doesn't die.
All right. So this is definitely in your cooking repertoire. So I'll give you 2 dice.
A 1 and a 3.
Well, that is excellent. You will pack that on there. People are amazed. I didn't know Lasmaran was an apothecary. Oh, she's a medical guy. Oh, and they will be shocked. However, I do think that your appearance is starting to fade. How do you get out of here before you change back?
I am so ashamed. My heart is entirely changed. I cannot bear to face you, and I just rush away.
You see that thing, you rush away. Of course, you're out in the courtyard. It's dark, and and then you get the silhouette gets smaller and smaller as you run along. And I think you can find Waldorf. Waldorf, where do you go to get patched up that skunkweed finds you? You muted.
I was probably coming to find skunkweed because I, from our little magic talking pebble, probably knew that mine was done well before his, because he had the whole kerfuffle with the donkeys and everything. So
you may catch him just as he's running out of the crowd.
Yeah, so like he's just about to come into the building as I'm leaving the building, and we like almost bump into each other. Skunkweed, did you do the stabbing thing?
Yes, I did too much of the stabbing thing, it turns out.
I did too much of the getting stabbed thing, so I think we actually this might work out.
Ooh, that looks painful.
Yes, it is very painful.
Thank you for volunteering for the being stabbed part.
I did not volunteer for the being stabbed part. I will remind you that I volunteered for the stupid paper donkey thing.
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, thank you anyway.
Yes. You don't happen to have anything for this? My and you can see that he's getting like pale. My magic is running a little bit low right now.
Your hair is probably getting less and less blue.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like bleaching
and-
white.
Yeah, and like I pull out what's left of the poultice, and it's like it's almost there's just a few drops of mashed pokeberry left. But I will apply that to the wound. And
I'm very small. You don't need
yes,
much.
And pokeberries sting like a Dickens, and that's how you know they're working. And I think over the next couple of days, there will certainly be a change. You will hear in Las Maran that he seems to have had his satisfaction over Cal Garwain, and he has turned his attention to other targets. And there's stories about the duel between Las Maran and Cal Garwain. They're a little contradictory, but people don't really make much of that. Las Maran just kind of puts it down to just some strangeness in the castle. And I think you will have successfully completed the task. That's where we're going to stop for tonight. Usually I do stars and wishes with these kinds of things after the second session. So we'll do that. We will, at the start of the next session, we'll stop and we'll do a check-in and see if there's anything you guys definitely want to have or changes you want to make or adjustments. And hopefully, it seems to me like this is a game where having more characters to help one another out is definitely mechanically sound. So we'll try to get a couple more goblins in for next time so that you can assist one another with your projects. Separating you out did not work to your advantage. Does that sound okay?
sure.
Okay. In that case, I am going to stop the broadcast.